How are you guys doing? How are you guys doing? As always, thank you so much for turning into another awesome podcast episode here at Brian's Place. Definitely grateful for all your prayer support over the years. Today we have an amazing special featured guest. We had little technical difficulties, but nevertheless, we are still here. Today's featured guest is a newly certified peer recovery support coach. She is a woman who is business minded with great charisma and purpose. Today's guest is a part of Afrofest, which is a community centered event focused on highlighting young, vibrant artists in the Bay Area. Woo, woo, shout out to the Bay. Um, Including creatives from all across the African continent. Please welcome the one and only Lira, Ndfon.
Hi, Ryan. Thank you so much for having me. I'm excited to be here. And yes, we did have a small technical difficulty, but I'm excited to be here.
Thank you so much. Definitely thank you for taking the time to come on. You've been really doing some amazing things, but all of that stems from the core of who you are, and I think that's awesome. The great Mae Jemison once said, "Never be limited by other people's limited imaginations." When you think about that, and that as you continue to pursue your purpose, what comes to your mind?
Wow. First of all, what a quote. I love that. Never be limited by other people. It's limited, what, perception of the mind?
Yeah, they're limited imaginations.
Yeah, wow. When I think about that, I think about, when I hear that, I think about being free and being fearless, right? Understanding that like other people's perception or other people's limited beliefs is is not mine, right? It has
Mhm.
nothing to do with me, and understanding that I too also have such limited beliefs and be able to like I don't know just live the best way I possibly know how to. Yeah.
Mhm. That's good. That is good. Um, you have an awesome story in regards to your own recovery journal, and not only your personal struggles, but your personal struggles that have catapulted you into your personal strengths. Would you mind sharing more about that?
Yeah. So when I went to Sonoma State, that's when my journey of like real mental health actually took place.
Hmm.
I used to play basketball, and basketball was my entire life, pretty much growing up. And when I got to Sonoma State, my junior year was okay. My senior year, I fell into depression because I wasn't performing as I would have loved to. Because basketball
Hmm.
was something that I thought I was going to play after I graduate college. Um, but because I wasn't performing as I would love to, I fell into depression because my identity, my self worth, who I was attached to basketball. So not knowing who I was outside of basketball was a big thing for me. And I had to learn to rediscover myself throughout that space. And I fell into depression. And, I would say that moment actually was the biggest gift that I could have asked from God, to be honest. I know in that moment I didn't see it as what it was, but seeing everything that I'm doing right now probably
Hmm.
kind of stems from me going through that challenging moment, that depressive state. So, to say that is like for anyone else that is like in some type of struggle, whatever it's depression, anxiety, fear, overthinking, right? Like I would encourage you to like look at that as like a moment of which it's shaping you, because I feel like that's what happened to me. And that's
Hmm.
why self-reflection podcast even exists today.
Yeah, that's definitely understandable. It's great that you're able to recognize what's going on and willing to willing to confront it. Sometimes in life we are faced with our own Goliath, not for us to be overtaken, but for the inner strength from within to be put on display. And that can only be, it's like we are called to be overcomers. So therefore things will come in our life to be for us to overcome. You know.
Absolutely, I agree. And every moment pushes you forward, regardless if you see it as such. Every moment pushes you forward. You know, but yeah.
Definitely. And when you think about where you were and who you were before and where you are now, what you're doing now, what does that do for you? Like seeing all that you've overcome and how you blossom into the woman that you are now.
Um, when I think about where I was, well, I'll just be clear, like, and honest here. It's like when you go through depression, at least for me, you know, like self care was not a thing, right? Prioritizing my mental health was not a thing. So I neglected that part of myself when I was going through my own trials and tribulations, right? And then getting to see myself in the space that I'm in right now. I'm not where I believe I want to be or where I think God wants me to be, but in
Hmm.
this moment, seeing myself in this space, I'm extremely proud of the woman that I'm becoming. I'm extremely proud of myself for overcoming everything that I've been through, and not only just by overcoming them, but also pushing forward and also trying to pave the way for other people that might be struggling with their mental health or might be struggling with some aspect of themselves as well.
Hmm. That's beautiful. It's like the rose that grew from the concrete in the midst of the pressure that's surrounding it. Like some way, somehow, it
Yeah.
continues to grow. And there was, I even saw one time it was a big sunflower that grew from the sewer. In the
Wow.
midst of its circumstance, it found a way to rise.
Yeah. Thank you.
Yes, definitely welcome. And you are doing so much by walking in your purpose. And so you have Afrofest, which is, a way to bring people together and to celebrate culture and to let people be more aware of the
African.
services. And, would you mind sharing, more in depth?
Yeah, Afrofest is a event that I found last year. It has been an idea that has been, since last year I finally took action on it, and we are bringing Afrofest back this year. Afrofest is going to be June 6th this year. And Afrofest is about culture, it's about tradition, it's about heritage, it's about recognizing who we are as people. It's about
Hmm.
building a community that recognize that we are more than just a community, we are a village, right? We are um, one another's keeper. We are each other's survivors. Our ancestors are living through us, and that's what Afrofest is all about. It's about recognizing the people that have been here before us, the people that fought for our freedom. Even though in today's day that seems like something that it might just get taken away again, but Afrofest is here to remind us that our ancestors fought for us, and we are here to continue that, continue, the freedom that they fought for, continue to keep our history alive, keep the bloodline alive, and other than just the heritage part, Afrofest is also here to highlight young, vibrant artists. Right, right now we are starting in the Bay, but the goal is to be able to go all across the ocean and go into the continent of Africa and be able to showcase talent there as well.
Yeah, I love that. That is so great. And so great. And of course, the Bay is real culturally diverse, and I love everything that's going on up there. But yeah, I know you will do well. And where will it be at?
It's going to be at Ashkenaz in Berkeley. And the doors are opening at 4 o'clock, 4 p.m.
Mhm.
And this is going to be June 6th. If you want to come to Afrofest, also the link is on my Instagram bio as well. Not to plug myself here. Um,
Yeah. Oh, you're
my,
good. You are good.
yeah.
That's awesome. And definitely thank you for your strength and your tenacity. And I know, especially here in the African American culture, there's always been a phrase, that what goes on in the house stays in the house.
Right.
But and in times past, seeing a therapist was looked down upon, and if there was mental health challenges, it was kind of encouraged to stay hidden. But it is okay to not be okay, and to not only own that, but to walk in like your God given victory. He said, in the midst of weakness, His grace is made sufficient. His strength is made perfect. But His strength can't come in if, we're constantly trying to work in our own strength. So that definitely requires a level of vulnerability and trust that He's not only had you, but that He's got you and will continue to keep you. What are your thoughts about that?
I agree with everything you said. Everything you said, I agree with. I think I come a lot from a spiritual perspective, and I believe that God is always working in our life, right? Even when we don't see it, we don't hear Him, we can't understand why He does the things that He do for us. But I believe that He's always in control. And I found myself when I gave myself to God and gave my life to God, and not to say that I'm perfect, but when I started calling onto, you know, God, right? Oh my God, when I started calling onto that source, I found that I was more at peace with myself, right? I found out that I was connected more with my divine self, even, and that's something that helped me with my mental health a lot, right? Recognizing that I didn't have to go through my mental health challenges alone. I didn't have to carry the burdens that I didn't know how to heal. I didn't have to carry the unforgiveness and the hatred and everything else that was in me, right? I was able to give it to a greater source that can help me with that. And I 100% believe in that, right? Whether if it's true or not, I found it that it was really helpful. And
Yeah.
to your other part of the question, which was like, being African, right? Whatever it's African here or African American or African back in the motherland, that's definitely a saying like what goes in the house stays in the house kind of thing. You don't air yourself out there. When it comes down to mental health, right, I think there's a fine line between that, getting support, going to somebody that is more structured, right, like a therapist, a counselor, a coach, a pastor, right, somebody that you can open up to and vent to. I think that is 100% appropriate, right? And in my opinion, so there's certain ways that you can allow yourself to express yourself without feeling as if you're allowing your family's business out there.
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
so true.
because I think there's a difference between talking to somebody like a therapist versus getting online and venting online, right? Those are the two things. And I think in our class when we both where we met, it says venting is not healthy,
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
yeah.
That's so true. Thank you so much for that. Yeah, I love how you put that. And finally, how can people reach you?
People can connect with me on Instagram or on TikTok at Lira Lira underscore Ndifon. Those are the two platforms. I'm mainly usually on IG most of the time. So that's where you can find me. Also, you can connect with me on our website at selfreflectionpodcast.com. That's another way that we can connect. And also, if you would love to come to Afrofest or be a vendor at Afrofest Bay Area this year, the link
Yes.
is on my Instagram bio. Go ahead, sign up on the link. We'd love to have you at Afrofest. And could I just share one more thing, Brian, if that's okay with you?
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
know, self reflection. I want to talk about self reflection because that's something that I feel like it has helped me, right? When you look at healing, to me, I think healing is an internal job. Healing is something that happens from within you, it comes from within you, and only you can give yourself that healing, right? That's how
Mhm.
I see it. And that's why I went down the route of self reflection, because I know that as somebody that consider themselves as a coach, or as somebody that has worked alongside with therapists and, clinicians, right? As much as wonderful we are, as much as wonderful these people are, I genuinely believe that if they give you all the tools and you don't put it to work in the space of self-reflection, right, you are going to find healing, but it's only going to be so much. It's going to be on the surface level. And to me, when you're looking to truly genuinely heal, a moment of self-reflection, especially daily, is one of those things that can support you to heal.
I love that. Healing is such a beautiful thing. It's like a river that no matter what comes in its path, it finds a way to overcome. And of course, when healing is mixed with God's love,
Yeah.
as it says, God's love is something that never fades away. So that's a beautiful thing.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. I think a lot of people miss out on God's love a lot. It's so beautiful.
Mm.
So thank you for bringing that up. Yeah.
Yes, definitely, definitely. Well, again, thank you so much for coming on. I'm definitely looking forward to, um, getting together with you again, and any way I could be of help and help. That definitely be great. And thank you.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you for the work that you're also doing as well. Creating this space for people to be able to come in, like myself, and share their thoughts, share what they're doing in the community, right? I think it's necessary, it's needed.
Yeah,
We need more spaces like this, especially in our Black and Brown community, where we can genuinely just have conversations that are healing, right? Generational trauma is something that exists in our body still. They say generational trauma goes at least like 4 generations back. So to have a space like this for us to be able to let our guards down and just share, I genuinely appreciate it. So thank you.
yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you. You are definitely welcome. Well, thank you again, everyone, for tuning in. I know beyond a shadow of a doubt that you have been greatly blessed by this episode. Definitely feel free to like, comment, share, and subscribe. And you be blessed. Thank you, as always, for rocking and rolling with me. Thank you for your continued prayers and your love and all of your support. I'm definitely appreciated. And as always, this is BDP, Brian David Porter, still living in purpose, on purpose, intentionally. Until next time, you guys be blessed.
Bye.